Hey, what's up, docs? Ryan G here for a late night walk. Didn't get all my laps in today, so I'm out doing it now while the rest of the family's sleeping. So earlier today, about 4 hours ago, I guess, I took a call with a new chiropractor, strategy call. And man, we discovered some like bad stuff. I feel really, really, really bad for this person. So he's got two practices in the Midwest, and he spent a lot of money on marketing. He hired this company, spent $35,000 for search engine optimization, and really got no result from it, which SEO is a challenge because you'll spend that money. It's a very long-term game. And I think many people just don't understand how long-term of a play it is, but you're not going to see, you're not going to get a return on that money quickly. So because it's a long-term game, you just spend $1,000 a month and you just do that for 10 years and you'll be doing pretty good, right? But anyway. So he did that. He also hired this company to optimize his Google business profile. Now it's interesting because before I got onto the strategy call, I pull all these reports on his site and on his Google profile and like just all this stuff, right? So he's telling me that he hired this company. He was paying him $2,000 a month to monitor and optimize his Google business profile. And I'm listening to him say this and I'm like, I looked at your Google business. It is not optimized at all. And I said, sir, let me show you something. So I pulled up his reports and I said, your Google business profiles are in position 20, which is the worst that it could be. That's the highest that it goes. And I said, these are not optimized at all. And he said, well, what do you mean? He said, this other company said, I just fired them, but they would send me reports every month saying that we were in position number 3. And I said, well, that doesn't make any sense to me. I literally just pulled these reports an hour ago and you're position 20. Like you don't drop from position 3 to position 20 that fast. And I said, and I looked at your profiles. They are not optimized at all. Like at all. And he goes, so what that tells me is this company that he hired, that I truly believe, they must have been making fake reports and then just sending it to him every month so that it looked like they were actually doing something. Man, I don't think they ever did anything, which really is crappy for him because and it's crappy for everybody because it just makes all marketing people look like such assholes. So that really freaking sucked. And, he mentioned that, he said, like, I'm struggling right now. I'm in distress. My chiropractic side of my business this year has dropped by 20%, and the neuropathy side has dropped by 40%, which, those are big numbers. Now, he's still doing better than most chiropractors are. He did like over 3 million last year. But, a 40% drop in neuropathy, 20% drop in chiro is a substantial drop. And just as I was walking, I was kind of just trying to think about him, his situation, why this is happening, how we're going to be able to effectively help him. And I just had this idea about, why the drop occurs. So there's really only 2 ways that I can think of that would cause that decrease in revenue. And it's either because the size of the pie, like you guys have all heard this term, the slice of the pie, I got my slice of the pie. Well, that pie is only so big, right? And that pie is technically the total available market. So that's the size of the population of your geographical location, which, for a lot of doctors is about a 30-mile radius or so from where their practice is. So we take that total geographical location and let's say that there's 100,000 people that live in that 30-mile radius. But not all 100,000 of those people are your perfect patient. They're just not who you want, right? So let's say you're focusing on neuropathy. So now of the 100,000 people that live in there, let's say maybe 30,000 of them are over the age of 65, but that still doesn't mean that they are suffering from the condition that you have. So some of the studies that I have read say that 30% of people over the age of 65 are suffering with neuropathy. I don't know what that calculation is, so I'm just going to guess. Let's say it's 10,000 people. So now that total available market has gotten a lot smaller. Now it's only 10,000 people in your little area, right? So now if we think about the 10,000 people that are there, we ask ourselves, what level of awareness are those 10,000 people in? Like, are they actually ready to buy, or are they still unaware that they even have a problem? And research tells us that only 2% of the given market is actually ready to buy at any given time. So that's a small number, right? That's a small number. So that's the whole piece of the pie. So the reason his revenue decreased could be because the size of that pie just got smaller. So instead of there being 10,000 people that could be his perfect patient, now maybe there's only 5,000. So you could do as much marketing as you want. If the pie is smaller, it's smaller, right? There's nothing you can do. The second reason his revenue could have decreased is that his piece of the pie got smaller. So maybe the pie itself stayed the same. There's the same number of potential patients in his area, but maybe he's got an aggressive, smart, and savvy new competitor that's coming to the marketplace, and maybe they're taking a lot of market share. And now he's struggling to, maintain where he was. I think every doc that I've talked to has said the same thing, which is there's so many chiropractors now selling neuropathy treatment that it really is very challenging to stand out. Tiff and I went to dinner a few minutes ago, and one of the things that we were kind of talking about is how a lot of these doctors have failed over the last 15 years. So, if you got into the neuropathy game 15 years ago, like this doc I talked to today, you've been doing it for 15 years. But for the last 15 years, you did not establish yourself as an expert. In 15 years, you have 50 reviews. You have 50 case studies and testimonials. You have 0 YouTube videos, very little social proof, very little content to position you as an expert. There's just nothing. So then all these other docs start doing neuropathy, and they come in and they can instantly look the same as you because you have nothing. You have no authority signals to prove that you're a better, safer choice for the patient. But if these doctors would have invested the proper time and energy to build these authority signals, publishing videos on YouTube consistently, whether that's once a day or once a week, once a day. So publishing that, writing articles, creating blog posts, publishing a podcast like this one. But you just keep creating that content, over a 10, 15 year period, dude, you will have a massive advantage over everybody else in that area. But what I notice is very few doctors do that. Very few doctors have the stamina to keep doing it, even though it doesn't produce a result right away. But then when shit hits the fan and their whole business starts falling apart and they're losing a tremendous amount of revenue, then they're scrambling to try to figure out how to fix the problem. But the reason this problem exists is because you spent 15 years not paying attention. You spent 15 years not building your authority, your expertise, or your position in the marketplace. And now some smart, hungry doctor gets out of school who's a little bit savvy with technology and starts kicking your ass because they know what to do and you're just totally lost. Yeah, sucks. So the point is, no matter where you're at right now in your journey, you need to start becoming the expert, the industry leading expert in your niche, whatever that niche is. If it's knee pain, if it's frozen shoulder, if it's plantar, you have got to really become an expert in that thing. And you've got to and it doesn't matter. Actually, one of my clients, his name is Dr. Andy Barlow. So before we started working with him, his site sucked. It was terrible. I went hunting with Andy. And when I first met Andy, it was in the airport as we were like waiting to get on the next plane. I'm listening to him talking. I'm thinking to myself, man, this guy is crazy. You are crazy, man. And then we sat on the plane next to each other, and for the 2-hour flight, he's talking. And I was like, man, this guy, he's talking about curing Alzheimer's and helping people walk again and doing all this stuff. And I just thought, dude, you are absolutely insane. And I said, as soon as we get to this hunting trip, man, these guys are going to tell you, be quiet because you're just crazy. So then we got to the hunting trip, and I realized very quickly, every time Andy spoke, everybody in the room was very reverent. They were very quick to just listen to what he had to say. And I was like, oh, okay, Ryan, you're missing something here. There's something about him that I don't get. So then a day into it, I'm listening to him more, and I'm like, this guy actually might be kind of smart. He might have something here. And then by the third day, I was like, okay, this guy is really smart. And by the fourth day, I was convinced this guy is a flipping genius. But guess what? None of it matters. It doesn't matter if you're a genius unless people actually know that you're a genius. So you have to actually tell the world and let people know that you have the ability to solve the problem that they have. But if you just hide it inside of yourself, it's not going to help anybody. It's not going to help you. It's not going to help your patients. It's not going to help your bank account. Your practice isn't going to grow. And some young, hungry doctor is going to come in who might not be as smart as you, and they're going to kick your butt because they actually understand the concept of strategic positioning and becoming an industry-leading expert by publishing information. So if you are a chiropractor who wants to become an industry-leading expert so that you can stand out from the crowd and really gain a massive advantage over the competition, send me a text message, 813-789-9868. That's 813-789-9868. I'm going to show you how we can help you do it, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.